All this controversy about your build, man. All right, everybody want to talk about the slasher. What's your take on that, man? What's your take on that? Because well, first let's do this. The players make the builds, correct?
Something like that. It's a complicated system. We are number one, but we got a bunch of young guys. Don't have too many too high expectations for us, man. And we had one bad game against somebody. We beat them by like 50, and that kind of. Other than that, we normally in that 5, 7, 10 range of winning. It ain't nothing crazy, but so the build, man, the build is souped up, but it is what it is. This is a game we play, and they invite 10 pros out to Cali, and 2-point guards, 2 shooting guards, etc. And they let them go figure out kind of what's going to be the best on league build, who's going to represent the league the best. So they do that every year. So essentially, the league picks the builds, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So. Right. Well, what's the big complaint then? Is it just because? Okay, to me, I look at it 2 ways. A, you're just really good at the game, and you found a way to be able to take that build to another level. Okay, or B, it's just broken. Right now, what is the consensus on y'all side? Because from the public standpoint, it's kind of split. Everybody's like, I see some people on the timeline. The build's broken, and then I see other people like, no, it takes talent, it takes skill to do what he does, right? Like, don't diminish this man for what he's doing on the court right now. Put some respect on his name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't even. As far as you hit on 2 points. I'll talk on the second one, but as far as having, is the build skilled or is it just dominant? I think anything with 90 plus stats on 2K is souped up. If you got 98 steal, you're gonna get plucks. If you got a 97 3-ball and you got Patty Mills on, you're gonna hit 90. You're gonna hit reds. You're gonna hit 56 contested shots. If you got 94 dunk, you're gonna get contact dunks. So it just depends. Like, so that's my view on it. But as pros, when it comes to slashing, when it comes to, because all the guards at the professional level is left, right, cheese behind the screen. So anything outside of that is not normal. So it's going to get a lot of feedback, a lot of complaints. They don't like it.
And that's where, again, I was going to lead to that. Before the season started, we all know about the whole situation. Joe knows what he was doing with the slasher build, correct? And I think a lot of that, again, goes back to 5 out, something different. Like you're saying, this is different. The pros, they don't really like to have change. They kind of want to say the same. Like, you go into the stage is the same. Everybody has the same builds. They run the same offense. Then if you have somebody that does one little wrinkle, setting screens with your lockdown, all of a sudden they got a problem. Why are you setting screens with your lockdown, man? Nah, So let's talk about that real quick. So yes, y'all are doing something different. Okay, you're running with a slasher. There's not all that going behind the screens. I mean, I see some of the games. I mean, y'all have some elements of it, but at the end of the day, y'all are playing a different type of offense. 2 questions. Let's do the first one. What was in that decision-making process as far as going with that build and that type of offense for you? Was it something before, like, hey, 2K24 playing on retail, you kind of had an idea? Or was it going into the season and you said, I'm transferring? Because I didn't watch a lot of what you did this past season. So, I'm not talking past season. I'm talking before the season came out. So, I didn't know if you were running small guard, big guard, slasher, whatever. So, just answer that question right there. What was your take on that? Like, what was the thought process?
So to be honest with you, it go back for a minute, man. When the Timberwolves took me, they took me when I played on Island Game back in 2K17-18. They didn't take me because I was never the best dribbler behind the screen. That was never. If you take me into the rec, I look like the best dribbler amongst rec players. But when you talk about the professional level, the top 25 players, they don't have me as the best dribbler. But the T-Wolves 6 years ago didn't take me. That was never the plan. There was a guy that came out of college that actually had a real mind for ball that was really good at 2K, and it was maybe we could run some different offense, some different formations. Maybe we can have a competitive edge amongst gamers if we know what horn sets is 1-4 flat, flare screens, when this like down screens, options 1 to 3 options inside of a play. So that started years ago, season 2, 2K19.
Okay.
And then when you fast forward 2K24, and then we get to this spot, people are like, the slasher is broken, and they're running this 5-out. When I won a championship in season 2, we ran 5-out, and I was the only team out of 21, 22 teams running 5-out. We was the only team to run it.
Yep.
And so it's always been that style of play, always been that flow for me. That is the 5-out is, if you remember 2K16-17, it was 250,000. They had the 250,000 tournaments. I made it to the final 4 in the 5-out. Like I don't know if I created it or was the originator for it. I don't know. But I've been doing that pretty much that's been my thing my whole career.
Oh, snap. Okay, cool. I didn't even know that. I did not know that. I didn't know that. So y'all are basically running, like I said, the 5-out, and there's been a lot of individuals, again, going back and forth about whether or not that's skilled and that skilled, whatever. My question is this. If y'all are already showing, like, this, everybody knows it's a copy paste league, man. Why if it's so broken, why other people aren't doing it?
I know where you're going with it. I'm ta-da. That's my question. We was talking on the timeline. I'm talking with a guy from the Warriors. They won championship last year. And shout out Keenan, man. Keenan just I think he graduated with his bachelor's. 2K league. Yep. Yeah, he just graduated. Shout out Keenan. But we're going back and forth on the timeline. They want to build patch. And I'm like, so we know what's souped up in the league, especially like the content creators that make the bills and the people who sweat the game 12 hours a day. They know what's soup. They know the cheese. So I'm like, they took out the 6-6s in the league. There's no 6-6s in the league. That's one of the best bills on the game, attribute-wise. And then I'm like, so y'all take out the 6-6, but that's because the little young guy, Two-Tac, was coming in, and Two-Tac, they thought the boy was cheating. He hitting smothers on everybody's head. So they like, the pros are kind of scared of that because they can't quite do what he's doing. So let's kind of take, they think it's broken, let's tone that down, and let's no 6-6s. So like, it's certain things that happen in the league that's real political, but not to dive too deep into it. Me and Keenan was going back and forth on the timeline, and Keenan's like, man, take out the slasher. I'm like, we're not complaining about jab steps and the stick dunk in the paint. We're not complaining about the T-Mac. I said, well, take out Patty Mills then. I said, take out Patty Mills' jump shot. He said, that's going to affect every PG. Every PG uses it. And I said, there goes your answer. If it's that souped, everybody is going to use it. The reason why y'all don't use 5-out and don't use that slasher build, because it has an 87 3-ball. And you can't cheese and run left and right on the screen. And your power forward, that's a superstar, don't want to stand in the corner 90% of the game and be a catch and shoot. Maybe your center can't shoot on a 74 3-ball. So it's... That's my question. That'd be my point. Like, it sounds good. It sounds good. But
there you go. It sounds good. It sounds good. And I believe, again, it's just, to me, I feel like this is really good for the game. All right. From, again, obviously you see I got my Mavs stuff on. I'm an ambassador with the Mavs. You know what I mean? But on the outside looking in, and even me partially in, as far as a creator with the Mavs, you want to see different stuff, right? I feel like people, if you watch the 2K League, you see, again, it's everybody doing the same thing. It's copy and paste. And you want to see things that are different. And there shouldn't be this type of outrage from players when it comes to that. To me, it sounds like, people that are, you know how it is when you're growing up. You know what I'm saying? You go over to your homeboy's house and stuff. Everybody's playing ball, and your homeboy ain't really winning like you want to. So you take the ball and say, man, everybody go home. I don't want to play no more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got to embrace the change, embrace diversity. And I love that stuff. So to me, when I was looking, I was just laughing because I was like, man, the man's cooking with grease, put some respect on his name. And at the end of the day, people that are pouting, it just shows a sign of weakness. If, you have an issue with it and you can't stop it, then just go ahead and put in give some respect. You know what I'm saying? So again, man, big
That's tough to do. That's tough to do for them. And you got a brain. So we go watch the NFL or we watch the NBA. We appreciate Mike Vick being different than Tom Brady. Both of them gonna sell
Yep.
tickets, but it's two different styles. LeBron gonna look different than Kobe, look different than Curry, gonna look different than Shaq. Like I don't want to
Exactly.
go watch. No disrespect. No, I don't want to watch 10 John Walls on the floor. Every team
Yep.
got the same bill, got the same players. I'm like, so, but you got a brain, so you understand it. And a lot of these guys don't do the content aspect of it. They do the pro side
Yep.
of it. They're not looking at the business side of it. They're not looking at what pleases the fan. What looks attractive visually when watching a game. If everybody do the same thing, and only difference is the color of the person's hair
The damn
and the color of
uniform.
their jersey and the uniform. Come on, man. What are we trying to
Bro,
sell?
I said this last year. If you was to put everybody in the same, if you put the screen black and white, you wouldn't even know if there was different teams playing, and it shouldn't be like that, right?
No,
So
it's
again,
I'm the guy for. I want to see the post scoring. I want to see the 6'9" PG that can't shoot. Forget a 6'2" PG with 80. I want to see 6'9" Ben Simmons, Magic Johnson. I want to see 5 defenders on the. Like I want to see some different stuff. Like get creative. You the best in the world.
Yeah.
Get creative. I don't want to see 25 PGs left, right behind the screen, and then they'll knock me by saying, "Oh, you can only run 5 out." I'm like, man, I ran pick and roll season 3, season 4. Season 4, me, Kai, we had the best offense in the NBA 2K League out of all the pros, and we ran their offense. We ran pick and roll, the best offense almost ever. We have beat the Raptors offense that went 16-0. We had a better efficiency offense than the team that went 16-0 and had the best offense ever at that time. So I'm like, the game is the game. If you're good, you're going to adapt to it. But at this point, I don't beg for the respect no more. I kind of know what it is. If they can't beat it, they cry.